In a small town where everyone knew everyone, there was a little restaurant that was always busy. People came from all over just to enjoy the warm, home-cooked meals and the friendly atmosphere. The smell of fried chicken, fresh bread, and sweet pies filled the air every day. The restaurant was not very big, but it had something special. It felt like home, like a place where everyone belonged. Among the staff was a kind-hearted waiter who always had a smile on his face. He knew almost every regular by name, and he remembered what they liked to eat. But it was not just his memory that made him special. It was the way he treated people, like they were important and seen. One afternoon, the restaurant was buzzing with people. Families were chatting at the tables, children were laughing, and the clatter of plates filled the air. The waiter moved between tables gracefully, carrying trays with food and drinks. As he walked past one of the corners, his eyes fell on a young girl sitting at a table with her mother. She was small, with delicate features and bright eyes that seemed to watch the world carefully. She had a disability that made it hard for her to move quickly or speak clearly. But there was something in her gaze that drew the waiter in. He noticed how she watched the other children laughing and playing, how she smiled shyly but with a spark of curiosity. It was clear that she loved being around people, but sometimes she seemed left out, quiet and alone in her own thoughts. The waiter had seen her come to the restaurant before, often with her mother. They would sit quietly in a corner away from the noise, and the girl would sometimes try to reach out to the servers or smile at strangers passing by. The mother looked tired, but there was love in her eyes that was deep and constant. The waiter had learned from small conversations and careful observation that the girl did not often get to enjoy the things most children did. Birthdays, parties, and celebrations were rare because of her special needs. Her family wanted to celebrate, but organizing something that would be comfortable and safe for her was difficult, and sometimes impossible. That afternoon, while bringing a plate of her favorite food, the waiter leaned down slightly and offered her a gentle smile. She looked up at him with cautious eyes, but when she saw his smile, she returned it with a small, shy one of her own. In that moment, something inside him stirred. He felt a desire to do something meaningful for her, something that would make her feel special and loved. He wanted her to experience joy in the purest form, the kind of joy that comes from feeling seen and cherished by others. Over the next few days, the waiter thought more and more about her birthday, which he had learned was coming soon. He imagined what it would be like to throw a party just for her, a celebration where she could feel included, happy and safe. But he knew it would not be easy. It required careful planning, patience, and the help of others. Still, the idea stayed with him, growing stronger each time he thought about it. He pictured her eyes lighting up, her laughter ringing through the air and the warmth of her mother's smile as she watched her daughter feel joy that was long overdue. The waiter began to make quiet plans. He started small, talking to the restaurant manager about the idea without giving away too much. He knew the manager would support him, but he wanted it to be a surprise. Together, they thought about how they could transform the restaurant for a special day. They considered decorations, a cake, music, and small gifts, all tailored to the girl's needs and preferences. The waiter wanted everything to be perfect, but not overwhelming, because he knew that she could get easily tired or overstimulated. While planning, the waiter observed the girl whenever she came to the restaurant. He noticed the little things she liked, the color of her hair bows, the way her eyes lit up when she saw a certain dish, the soft hum she made when she was content. He made mental notes of her favorite things so that he could incorporate them into the party. He even asked the kitchen staff to secretly prepare a small version of her favorite dessert, just in case it was needed. Every detail mattered to him because he wanted this to be a moment that would stay with her forever. The mother was busy with work and managing the household, and she often looked tired. The waiter knew that organizing a party would be nearly impossible for her without help. He wanted to take that burden away and make the day about her daughter, without her needing to worry about a thing. He imagined the look on the mother's face when she saw her child smiling, carefree and truly happy. That thought alone gave him more motivation to keep planning and preparing. As the days passed, the waiter quietly gathered the support of the staff and a few regular patrons who were known for their kindness. He explained the situation without giving away the surprise, asking for their help in creating something special. The response was overwhelmingly positive. People were eager to be part of this act of kindness, and they contributed in their own ways. Some helped with decorations, others with music, and a few even offered small gifts that could be included in the celebration. The waiter felt a sense of community forming around this idea, a collective effort to bring happiness to someone who rarely got to experience it fully. He also thought about how to make the girl feel comfortable during the celebration. He knew that new experiences could be overwhelming, so he planned to introduce everything slowly and gently. He wanted her to enjoy the moment without feeling pressured or scared. He imagined guiding her hand to blow out the candles, helping her open gifts and ensuring she felt included in every part of the day. Each step required thought and care, and he was determined to do it right. While making these plans, the waiter reflected on the small moments he had shared with the girl. He remembered the time she had reached out her hand to touch a butterfly sticker on the wall, her face lighting up with pure delight. He thought of the quiet hum she made when she enjoyed a meal, the small smile she gave when someone spoke gently to her. These memories strengthened his resolve. He realized that sometimes happiness was found in small, thoughtful actions that showed someone they were loved and valued. The week of her birthday arrived, and the waiter felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. Everything had to go smoothly. The decorations were ready, the cake was prepared, and the gifts were wrapped and waiting. The staff had rehearsed the small parts they would play, and everyone was aware of how important it was to make the day perfect. The waiter checked and double-checked every detail, making sure that nothing would cause discomfort or stress for the girl. On the morning of the birthday, the waiter arrived early at the restaurant to make final preparations. He carefully arranged the tables, set up the decorations, and ensured that everything was in place. The kitchen staff were busy with the cake and the special meal, and the volunteers were quietly preparing music and activities. Despite the chaos behind the scenes, there was a sense of calm determination. Everyone involved understood the importance of this day and was committed to making it unforgettable. As the hour approached, the waiter felt his heart beat faster. He thought about the girl and her mother, how they would arrive soon and how this day would change everything for them, even if just for a few hours. He imagined the girl's eyes widening with surprise, her small hands clapping in delight and her laughter filling the room. He thought about the mother's expression, the tears that might come, and the overwhelming gratitude she would feel. It was a lot to think about, but it was all worth it. When the girl and her mother finally walked through the door, the waiter greeted them with his warm smile, trying to hide his excitement. He led them to the table that had been carefully prepared, keeping the magic of the surprise intact. The girl's eyes widened as she looked around, taking in the decorations, the cake, and the gifts. For a moment she seemed unsure, her shy nature making her hesitate, but when she saw the gentle smiles of the staff and the kind eyes of the waiter, she felt a sense of comfort and safety. She knew she was in a place where she could be herself and enjoy the moment. The waiter stayed close, guiding her gently, making sure she felt included and loved. He watched as her face lit up, the small smile growing into a beam of pure happiness. He saw the mother's eyes fill with tears as she watched her daughter experience joy that she had not often been able to feel. The waiter felt a quiet pride, not in himself but in the collective effort that had created this moment. He knew that the memory of this day would stay with the girl and her mother forever, a reminder of the power of kindness and the beauty of human connection. After the initial idea of throwing a birthday party for the young girl, the waiter could not stop thinking about every small detail. He wanted everything to be perfect, not just for her enjoyment, but so she would feel the love and care of everyone around her. The next few days were full of quiet planning and secret preparations. Every moment he could spare, he spent thinking of ways to make the day magical. The more he thought about it, the more ideas came to him, and he realized that this would require more than just a few decorations and a cake. It would take teamwork, patience, and creativity. He first spoke to the restaurant manager privately. The manager listened carefully, nodding and then smiled warmly. He understood immediately the importance of this gesture and agreed to help without hesitation. Together they started making a list of everything needed: decorations that would brighten the space but not overwhelm it, a cake that was both beautiful and catered to the girl's tastes, music that would create a joyful atmosphere without startling her, and small gifts that she could open with ease. Each item on the list was carefully considered, and the waiter took notes on everything. The waiter also thought about the staff. He knew they could help, but he wanted everyone to understand the significance of this surprise. He gathered the kitchen staff, explaining in detail about the girl, her personality, and the small things she enjoyed. He told them about her love for certain colors, the way her eyes lit up when she saw butterflies, and how she often hummed when she was happy. The kitchen staff listened closely and promised to help make a special cake and meal that would reflect the girl's favorites. They even suggested adding small touches, like a soft chocolate drizzle or a few colorful sprinkles to make it extra special. Next, he approached some of the regular patrons who were known for their kindness. He asked if they would be willing to help, without revealing the surprise to the girl or her mother. The response was overwhelmingly positive. People were happy to contribute, offering gifts, decorations, and even their time to help set up. The waiter was moved by their generosity and felt encouraged. He realized that this small act of kindness was becoming a community effort, with people coming together for the happiness of one little girl. As the plans developed, the waiter also considered the girl's comfort. He knew that too much noise or too many new faces could make her anxious. He decided to keep the party small, only involving people who were familiar and friendly. He wanted her to feel safe, loved, and included. The decorations would be colorful but soft, the music gentle but cheerful, and the gifts thoughtful rather than overwhelming. He carefully planned the sequence of events so she would not feel rushed or pressured. The waiter spent time imagining the different moments of the party. He pictured leading her to the decorated table, her eyes widening as she took in the balloons, banners, and cake. He imagined guiding her hand to blow out the candles, helping her open the presents, and watching her laugh freely, something she did not often get to do. He thought about the mother watching quietly, her heart full of love and gratitude, tears in her eyes as she saw her daughter's happiness. These images kept him motivated as he moved through the planning. In the kitchen, the chef and the staff began working on the cake. They decided to make a layered cake with soft colors, decorated with small edible butterflies because the girl loved them. They also baked her favorite dessert on the side, making sure it was easy for her to enjoy without mess or difficulty. Every step was done with care, as if the cake itself could carry love and joy. The waiter visited often, checking on progress and giving small suggestions, making sure nothing was overlooked. Meanwhile, volunteers for the music and decorations were quietly preparing their contributions. One woman brought a soft, colorful garland. Another played the piano gently to test how the music would sound in the room. Every small addition was carefully tested to ensure it would be pleasant and comforting. The waiter supervised, not in a controlling way, but to make sure the vision he had for this special day was respected. He wanted every part of the experience to feel natural and joyful, without forcing or overwhelming the girl. As the birthday approached, the anticipation grew. The waiter imagined the girl's reactions, wondering if she would be surprised, if she would smile widely, if her laughter would fill the room. He also thought about her mother, how much it would mean to her to see her daughter truly happy. He wanted them both to experience something unforgettable, a memory they could hold on to forever. The idea of giving this small piece of happiness to them motivated him every day. During this time, the waiter also spent moments reflecting on his own life. He realized that helping someone else in such a meaningful way brought a unique kind of joy. It was not about recognition or praise, but about seeing someone else feel valued and loved. He remembered moments from his own childhood, times when small acts of kindness had made a big difference in his life. Now he had the chance to create that same magic for someone else, and he took it seriously. He even practiced small gestures, imagining how he would guide the girl during the party. He thought about holding her hand as she blew out the candles, helping her unwrap gifts slowly so she could enjoy each one, and watching her explore the room without fear. He considered how he would respond if she became overwhelmed, making sure he could comfort her quickly and gently. Every scenario was thought through because he wanted the day to be seamless, smooth, and full of happiness. The waiter also wrote a small note to include with the birthday cake, something simple and heartfelt. It would say how special she was and how everyone in the restaurant cared about her. He hoped it would make her feel loved in a way she had not often experienced. He carefully tucked the note in an envelope, knowing that even small words could carry great meaning. As the night before the birthday arrived, the preparations were nearly complete. The restaurant was quiet after closing, and the waiter walked around checking every detail. The decorations were in place, the cake ready in the kitchen, and the gifts wrapped neatly. Volunteers had rehearsed their roles and gone home, leaving only a few staff members to finalize arrangements. The waiter felt a mix of nervousness and excitement. He knew that tomorrow would be a day full of emotions, joy, and memories. Finally, the evening ended with the waiter sitting quietly in the empty restaurant. He thought about the girl, her mother, and the impact that a simple act of kindness could have. He felt a deep sense of purpose, knowing that this surprise was not just about a birthday party but about showing someone that they mattered. He reminded himself to stay patient, gentle, and thoughtful, keeping the girl's comfort at the center of every decision. As he left the restaurant, he walked through the quiet streets of the town, imagining how the next day would unfold. He pictured the girl arriving with her mother, her eyes widening with surprise and her laughter filling the room. He thought about the staff and volunteers, everyone coming together to create this special moment. It was a collective act of love, something far bigger than any one person. The anticipation was almost unbearable, but he knew it would all be worth it when he saw her joy. The day of the birthday was just hours away, and the waiter could hardly sleep. His mind was full of images of the celebration, of the girl smiling, of her mother watching, and of everyone sharing in a small but profound moment of happiness. Every preparation, every small effort, and every thoughtful gesture had led to this moment. And he knew that when it happened, it would not just be a birthday party. It would be a memory of kindness, care, and love that would last a lifetime. The morning of the birthday arrived with a soft sunlight that filtered through the small town. The streets were calm and the little restaurant waited quietly for the day to begin. The waiter arrived early, as usual, his heart full of anticipation. The decorations had been set the night before, but he wanted to check everything one last time. Balloons floated gently around the room. Colorful garlands hung from the ceiling, and the table was set with care. The cake rested on a special plate in the kitchen, covered to keep it safe until the right moment. The gifts were neatly arranged nearby, ready to be given with love and thoughtfulness. The staff arrived one by one, each bringing their energy and commitment to the day. They smiled as the waiter greeted them, understanding the importance of what they were about to do. Even the kitchen staff, usually busy with orders and meals, moved carefully and quietly, ensuring everything was ready without disturbing the calm that needed to greet the young girl. Everyone knew that today was not just any day. It was a chance to create a memory that could last a lifetime. The waiter double-checked every detail, walking slowly through the room and imagining how the girl would see everything for the first time. He adjusted a balloon here, a ribbon there, and made sure the table was perfectly arranged. He paused to look at the cake again, thinking about the small butterflies carefully placed on top and the soft colors chosen especially for her. Each decoration, each small detail had been chosen with her joy in mind. He smiled to himself, feeling a sense of quiet satisfaction. The day was ready to begin. When the girl and her mother arrived, the waiter greeted them with his usual warm smile. He guided them gently toward the table, making small talk to keep the girl calm and comfortable. She looked around, her eyes wide with curiosity, but the surprise had not yet fully revealed itself. The waiter kept his demeanor relaxed, letting her notice the changes at her own pace. Her mother, sensing something special, looked on with quiet anticipation, a soft smile forming on her face. As they approached the table, the lights dimmed slightly, and soft music began to play. The girl's eyes widened, and she took a small step forward, trying to understand what was happening. Balloons bobbed gently above her, colorful banners stretched across the room, and the table was covered with small, thoughtful gifts. The girl's mother gasped softly, tears threatening to spill as she realized the magnitude of what had been done. The girl looked around, her expression a mix of surprise, wonder, and cautious delight. She did not say much at first, but her eyes told the story. She felt seen, loved, and celebrated. The waiter knelt slightly to be at her level, offering his hand and a gentle smile. The girl took it slowly, her small fingers wrapping around his, and a shy but genuine smile spread across her face. The mother watched, her heart full, as the girl began to explore the gifts and decorations. Volunteers quietly appeared around the room, smiling and encouraging her without overwhelming her senses. Music played softly, adding warmth to the moment. The waiter stayed close, guiding her when needed, ensuring that she felt comfortable and safe. The moment came for the cake. The waiter led the girl to the table, helping her stand near it without making her feel rushed or pressured. The candles were lit, and the soft glow reflected in her eyes. She looked at the cake, then at the waiter, and finally at her mother. He smiled gently and encouraged her to make a wish. With a small nod, she closed her eyes for a moment and then blew out the candles with a little help. Laughter and applause filled the room, not loud enough to startle her, but enough to celebrate her accomplishment. She giggled, the sound soft and joyful, and the mother's tears flowed freely as she watched her daughter enjoy the moment. After the cake, it was time for gifts. The waiter guided the girl to each gift carefully, allowing her to open them at her own pace. Volunteers and staff quietly assisted, making sure she did not feel overwhelmed. Each gift was chosen with thoughtfulness, reflecting her interests and personality. She smiled at each one, her laughter ringing through the room like a melody. The mother watched quietly, overwhelmed with gratitude and emotion, knowing that this day was a rare gift of joy for her daughter. Throughout the celebration, the waiter remained attentive, noticing the little things that mattered. He adjusted a balloon that had drifted too close, guided the girl's hand as she tried to touch a decoration, and spoke softly when she looked uncertain. Every action was gentle, patient, and full of care. He understood that happiness was not just about the grand gestures, but about the small, thoughtful moments that made someone feel safe and valued. The restaurant's regular patrons joined in quietly, offering smiles, applause, and encouragement. The room was filled with warmth, not chaos. People understood that today was not about them, but about creating a space where the girl could feel joy without worry. The atmosphere was calm yet vibrant, a balance that allowed her to experience the celebration fully. The music, decorations, and laughter blended seamlessly, creating an environment of love and attention. As the party continued, the girl began to explore the restaurant, moving from table to table with the gentle guidance of the waiter. She looked at the decorations, pointed at the balloons, and touched the small gifts with curiosity. Her laughter grew louder as she became more comfortable, and the mother followed, smiling and occasionally wiping tears from her eyes. The waiter watched, heart full, knowing that the effort, planning, and patience had created something truly special. Volunteers offered gentle games and small activities that the girl could participate in without feeling overwhelmed. Each game was simple, engaging, and designed to make her feel included. The waiter guided her through each activity, celebrating each small success with smiles and encouragement. The mother joined when she could, holding her daughter's hand, clapping softly and sharing in the joy. The room felt alive with warmth, love, and connection, a perfect reflection of the community effort that had gone into this day. The waiter also made sure to capture small moments quietly. He took photographs and notes not to show off later, but to preserve memories for the mother and daughter. He wanted them to have something tangible to look back on, a reminder of a day filled with love, kindness, and joy. Each smile, laugh, and gesture was recorded in his mind as well, a personal memory of a moment that had touched him deeply. As the party drew to a close, the waiter guided the girl and her mother to a quiet corner for a moment of reflection. He asked how she felt, and she smiled shyly, her eyes shining. The mother expressed her gratitude, her voice trembling as she thanked the waiter for everything he had done. He smiled softly, telling her it was his pleasure and that seeing her daughter happy was the greatest reward. The girl reached out and hugged him gently, a silent thank you that carried more meaning than words ever could. The staff, volunteers, and patrons quietly began to clean up, leaving the mother and daughter to enjoy the final moments of the celebration. The room returned to its usual calm, but the warmth of the day lingered. The girl and her mother left with smiles, laughter, and memories that would stay with them forever. The waiter stayed behind, walking slowly through the empty restaurant, reflecting on the joy they had created together. He felt a deep sense of fulfillment, knowing that even small acts of kindness could make a big difference. As he turned off the lights and stepped outside, the sun was setting, casting a golden glow over the small town. The waiter walked through the quiet streets, thinking about the girl's laughter, her mother's tears, and the community that had come together to make the day special. He knew that moments like these were rare, precious, and worth every effort. And he also knew that the happiness they had created would ripple far beyond this one day, leaving a lasting impression on everyone involved. As the birthday celebration continued, the waiter stayed close to the girl, making sure every moment was as gentle and joyful as possible. He noticed the way she moved carefully from one small activity to another, her eyes bright with excitement but her movements slow and deliberate. Each laugh she let out felt like music, and each shy smile warmed the hearts of everyone present. He guided her hand softly during each game, clapped gently when she completed a small task, and praised her in the quietest, kindest way so she felt proud without feeling pressured. The mother watched in awe, her heart full as she saw her daughter experience a level of happiness she had rarely witnessed. Tears filled her eyes as she realized how much thought and care had gone into every detail of the celebration. The waiter made sure that the mother could enjoy the moment too, offering small words of reassurance and gentle encouragement, telling her to relax and let her daughter shine. He wanted the day to feel effortless for both of them, a true gift of joy without stress. Volunteers and staff moved quietly, creating small pockets of activity that the girl could explore. Some brought little art projects like coloring or creating small shapes with soft clay, while others helped her blow tiny bubbles that floated gently through the air. Every action was intentional, designed to engage her senses without overwhelming them. She laughed at the bubbles, reaching out with curiosity and delight, and the mother joined in, clapping softly and sharing in the joy. The atmosphere was calm, warm, and vibrant, a perfect balance for a child who needed gentle attention. At one point, the waiter noticed that the girl had become slightly overwhelmed by the excitement around her. He immediately knelt beside her, speaking softly and reassuringly. He guided her to a quiet corner with some soft pillows and a small blanket, allowing her to rest for a few moments. Volunteers respected the space, quietly waiting nearby, ready to continue the celebration once she felt ready. The girl took a few deep breaths, her mother close by, and then slowly smiled again. It was a small moment, but it spoke volumes about the care and thoughtfulness that had gone into planning the day. When the girl was ready, the celebration continued with a series of small, manageable activities. She opened more gifts, each one chosen to suit her interests and abilities. She carefully explored each item, her laughter and smiles growing with every discovery. The waiter guided her gently, ensuring that each interaction was positive and joyful. The mother watched quietly, her own heart swelling with gratitude and emotion, knowing that her daughter was experiencing happiness in its purest form. The restaurant's regular patrons, who had been invited to be part of the celebration, participated quietly. They offered smiles, gentle encouragement, and soft applause, creating a sense of community and support without overwhelming the girl. The waiter made sure their interactions were brief and kind, allowing the girl to enjoy each moment at her own pace. The warmth of the room was not just in the decorations or music, but in the genuine care of every person present. As the afternoon progressed, the waiter guided the girl to a special activity, a small treasure hunt designed just for her. He had hidden small items around the restaurant, each one chosen to delight and engage her. Volunteers quietly assisted, pointing out gentle clues when needed. The girl's face lit up with excitement as she found each item, her laughter echoing softly through the room. The mother watched, tears streaming down her cheeks, overwhelmed by the love and effort that had gone into this day. The music played softly in the background, a gentle melody that added to the warmth of the atmosphere. The waiter noticed the way the girl moved to the rhythm, swaying slightly with a smile. He joined in with quiet encouragement, clapping gently and smiling, making sure she felt celebrated without feeling self-conscious. Every small detail, every careful action was designed to ensure she felt included, loved, and safe. Later, the waiter helped the girl and her mother create a small memory book. He had prepared blank pages with colored pens and stickers, allowing the girl to decorate and personalize her own keepsake. She carefully added stickers, doodled small shapes, and smiled proudly at her creation. The mother assisted gently, guiding her hand when needed, and the waiter offered quiet praise. It was a moment of creativity, bonding, and reflection, a gentle pause in the celebration that allowed them to savor the joy of the day. The room was filled with laughter, soft music, and quiet conversation. The celebration had grown into a series of moments that were meaningful, gentle, and joyful. The waiter observed quietly, his heart full, knowing that the day was unfolding exactly as he had hoped. He felt a deep sense of satisfaction, not in praise or recognition, but in the knowledge that he had helped create something truly special for a child who deserved to feel loved and celebrated. The mother approached the waiter at one point, her voice trembling as she thanked him. She explained how much it meant to her to see her daughter so happy, to see her laughing and exploring without fear or hesitation. The waiter smiled softly, reassuring her that it was his pleasure and that her daughter's happiness was reward enough. The mother nodded, tears still in her eyes, feeling a sense of relief, gratitude, and joy all at once. As the afternoon turned into evening, the celebration began to wind down. The girl had experienced so much joy, laughter, and attention that she now looked content and tired. The waiter guided her gently back to the table, helping her settle comfortably. Volunteers quietly assisted with cleaning up, ensuring that the end of the celebration was as smooth and gentle as the rest of the day. The atmosphere remained warm and calm, allowing the girl to transition from excitement to a quiet, peaceful state. Before the mother and daughter left, the waiter handed them a small bag containing mementos from the day, a few extra decorations, a small toy, and a photograph of the girl with the cake. It was a way to preserve the memory of the celebration, something tangible to look back on in the years to come. The girl smiled shyly as she held the bag, and the mother hugged the waiter tightly, whispering words of gratitude that left him humbled and deeply moved. The volunteers and staff shared quiet goodbyes, smiling and waving as the mother and daughter left. The room slowly returned to its usual calm, but the warmth and love from the celebration lingered in the air. The waiter stayed behind for a few moments, walking slowly through the restaurant, reflecting on the day. Every detail, every smile, every moment of laughter had come together to create something extraordinary. He felt a profound sense of fulfillment, knowing that he had helped create joy, love, and a lasting memory. As the sun began to set outside, casting golden light through the windows, the waiter looked at the empty room with a quiet smile. He thought about the girl, her mother, and the community that had come together to make the day special. He knew that this celebration was more than just a birthday party. It was a reminder of the power of kindness, care, and thoughtful attention. It was a memory that would live on, not just for the girl and her mother, but for everyone who had been part of the day. After the celebration, the waiter lingered in the quiet restaurant, thinking about the day and the impact it had created. The girl and her mother had left with smiles, laughter, and a bag of memories that would stay with them forever. The staff slowly cleaned up, moving carefully and quietly, still feeling the warmth of the moments they had shared. Even after the decorations were taken down and the cake dishes washed, the sense of love and care remained in the air. The waiter reflected on how a small act of kindness had brought so much happiness, not just to the girl and her mother, but to everyone involved. In the following days, word about the special birthday celebration spread quietly through the town. Patrons who had been part of the day spoke softly to friends and neighbors, sharing the story without exaggeration, simply describing the joy and the thoughtfulness that had gone into the party. People were moved not by grand gestures, but by the care and attention to detail, the patience and love shown to a young girl who rarely received such celebration. The story inspired others in small ways, reminding them of the power of kindness and the difference one person can make. The waiter continued his daily work, carrying trays, greeting patrons, and serving meals, but his heart felt fuller. Every now and then, he would think about the girl's laughter, her shy smiles, and the sparkle in her eyes when she explored the decorations or opened a gift. These memories reminded him that happiness could be created with simple, thoughtful acts, and that attention to someone's needs and feelings could have a profound impact. He felt quietly proud, not for recognition, but for knowing that he had made a difference in someone's life. The mother returned to the restaurant a few days later, bringing a small card for the waiter. She thanked him again, her words heartfelt and genuine, expressing gratitude for the kindness, patience, and love he had shown. She told him how her daughter talked about the day for hours afterward, describing the decorations, the cake, and the laughter she had shared with everyone. The waiter listened quietly, smiling softly, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. He understood that this was the reward, seeing the lasting happiness created by thoughtful care. The girl also returned briefly, shyly peeking into the restaurant with her mother. When she saw the waiter, her face lit up with recognition, and she waved hesitantly before running to him. He knelt down, greeting her with a warm smile, and she hugged him tightly, a small but meaningful gesture of gratitude and affection. The mother watched, tears in her eyes, seeing the connection between her daughter and the waiter that had been strengthened through the celebration. The moment was simple but profound, a quiet reminder of the impact of kindness and empathy. In the days that followed, the waiter noticed subtle changes in the community. Patrons who had been involved in the celebration spoke more gently to children, offered smiles and small gestures of care to strangers, and seemed more aware of the needs of others. The story of the birthday, while not widely publicized, had a ripple effect. It reminded people that small, thoughtful actions could create meaningful joy and strengthen bonds in ways that were often overlooked in the busyness of everyday life. The waiter felt quietly gratified to witness this effect, knowing that a single act of love could inspire others to care more deeply. The restaurant continued to be a warm, welcoming place, but now it held a special memory within its walls. The staff often spoke quietly among themselves about the day, recalling the laughter, the shy smiles, and the moments of quiet joy. They remembered how carefully the activities had been designed, how patiently the girl had been guided, and how her mother had been supported throughout. These memories created a sense of pride and purpose among the team, reminding them that their work could bring real happiness beyond the meals they served. The girl's mother occasionally stopped by the restaurant to share updates about her daughter, describing new moments of joy and growth that had been influenced by the birthday celebration. She told the waiter how her daughter had developed more confidence, how she laughed more freely, and how she felt valued and loved. The waiter listened quietly, smiling, realizing that the impact of a single thoughtful day could extend far beyond the moment itself. It was a reminder that attention, care, and patience could nurture confidence and joy in ways that were lasting and meaningful. One afternoon, as the waiter was serving a regular table, he noticed the girl walking nearby with her mother. She waved at him and smiled, her eyes shining with recognition and happiness. He waved back, feeling a surge of warmth in his heart. He realized that the joy created that day was not confined to the party, but had become part of their lives, a memory that brought happiness long after the celebration ended. It was a reminder of the power of small, thoughtful actions and the lasting difference they could make. The waiter also reflected on his own life, understanding how the experience had changed him. He felt a deeper connection to the community and a greater awareness of the needs of others. He realized that kindness was not about grand gestures or recognition, but about being present, attentive, and thoughtful. The celebration had reminded him that every interaction, every small moment could hold meaning and create joy. It was a lesson he carried with him daily, inspiring him to continue serving others with care and empathy. As the months passed, the memory of the birthday celebration remained vivid for the girl and her mother. They often talked about it, recalling the decorations, the cake, the gifts, and the laughter. The mother expressed gratitude regularly, and the girl would smile whenever she remembered the day. For the waiter, the memory stayed with him as well, a quiet joy that reminded him of the difference one person could make through thoughtfulness and love. The story of the celebration, though simple, held a profound message for everyone involved. It showed that small acts of kindness could create lasting happiness, that attention to someone's needs could make a world of difference, and that community and empathy could transform ordinary spaces into places of joy. The waiter had brought together staff, volunteers, and patrons to create something meaningful, demonstrating the power of love and care in its purest form. In the quiet moments after work, the waiter often thought about the girl, her laughter, and the happiness that had filled the room that day. He remembered the gentle smiles, the shy hugs, and the warmth in the mother's eyes. These memories were a reminder of why he had chosen this path, why he dedicated himself to serving others with care and attention. The celebration had been more than a birthday. It had been a testament to the power of human connection and the lasting impact of thoughtful action. The restaurant continued to thrive, but it now held a story within its walls, a story of love, care, and community. The staff carried the memory with them, inspired to approach their work with even more attention and empathy. Patrons who had witnessed the celebration were reminded of the importance of kindness in everyday interactions. And for the girl and her mother, the day remained a cherished memory, a shining example of how love and thoughtfulness could create lasting joy. The waiter, walking home one evening after a long day, reflected on the ripple effects of the celebration. He felt a quiet pride, knowing that something small, thoughtful, and intentional had brought happiness, strengthened bonds, and inspired others to act with kindness. He understood that the memory of the day would continue to influence everyone involved, creating a lasting sense of connection and community. It was a powerful reminder that genuine care, patience, and attention could transform lives in meaningful ways. Even as the seasons changed, the memory of the birthday celebration lingered in the hearts of the girl, her mother, the staff, volunteers, and patrons. It had become more than just a single day. It had become a story of love, hope, and the beauty of human connection. The waiter carried that story quietly with him, knowing that the happiness created would continue to ripple through the lives of those touched by it. And in that small town, a simple act of kindness had left an enduring mark, a testament to the power of thoughtful, compassionate action.